Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'll be talking about the 5 best non-division rivalries currently in the NFL. This on another episode of... So, rivalries. Obviously, every division they're all rivals to each other, but non-division rivals, now those are the fun ones. And here are 5 of the best non-division rivalries currently happening. At number 5, we have the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, these two teams, their rivalry is born purely out of constantly meeting in the playoffs. And the Packers and the Niners have met multiple times in the Aaron Rodgers era, and now they've started meeting in the Jordan Love era. And it's interesting because the Niners have consistently been able to smack the Packers out of the playoffs when they met. But it's a good rivalry because when they match up, it's usually a very good game. Unfortunately, for the Packers, they have not normally come out on top of this matchup. But by the sheer frequency of how many times they have met up, it's one of the most fun rivalries to watch in sports. At number 4, we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Chiefs and Bengals, this is a relatively new one. This is purely spawned out of Joe Burrow being the Bengals quarterback and his ability to go up against Patrick Mahomes and give some very electric games. The Bengals obviously have beaten the Chiefs a few times, and the Chiefs have beaten the Bengals a few times back. It's a very mixed rivalry in terms of who comes out on top. And the Bengals have gotten better than the Chiefs enough to make it an actual rivalry instead of just the Chiefs punishing a weaker opponent. And the Bengals, by constantly being the team that one of the teams that puts up such a good fight against the Chiefs, they've earned this rivalry's slot. At number 3, we have the LA Rams and the Detroit Lions. Now, the Rams and Lions traded quarterbacks back in 2021, Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff, and ever since they've been entwined. And because of being entwined, that's where this rivalry has sprouted from. Because both teams are currently tied to the outcome of that trade. Who won the trade, who won this, who won that. And honestly, it spawned a little bit of bad blood between the teams back in 2021 when the trade first happened. Of course, the Lions were bad, and the Rams went on to win the Super Bowl. So at that point, it didn't feel like a rivalry was going to occur. But in subsequent years, the animosity between the fan bases and the teams has grown, and it feels like the rivalry is in full swing currently. And that is a very fun football to watch, because every time these two teams run into each other, the narrative is who has won the trade, who's better, which of these teams has succeeded more since the trade. At number 2, we have the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the Eagles and the Niners, this is a very playoff-based rivalry, and it started back in the year 2022 when the Eagles bounced the 49ers from the playoffs in the NFC Championship game. And obviously that game was a terrible game for the 49ers, but that spawned the modern iteration of this rivalry. And the Eagles and 49ers have been to every Super Bowl since that year. Now, this rivalry is very fun to watch because both these teams are NFC mainstays, and their fan bases are very passionate about their teams, to say the very least. And at number 1, we have the most entertaining, exciting, and electric rivalry outside the division currently in the NFL, and that is the Chiefs and Bills. The Bills have consistently ran into the Chiefs in the playoffs and lost to them, and it's very impressive. For the past several seasons, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills have been two of the mainstays of the AFC side of the playoff bracket, and their ability to constantly run into each other and have some of the most exciting playoff games in all of football is amazing. anytime these two run into each other, it's a must-see game with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes dueling it out on national television. And in the regular season, the Bills have gotten the better of the Chiefs, but the Bills have never been able to overcome them in the playoffs. And that makes this rivalry very interesting because while one team's very good in the regular season, the other is good in the playoffs. And until the Bills figure out how to win over the Chiefs in the playoffs, this rivalry will still be very one-sided. With that being said, guys, please like, share, and subscribe down below, and comment what you think. And I'll see you next time.